So I was asked to speak today because I'm trying to change the world. And some of you might actually be thinking like, okay, yeah, good luck with that. But I really hope you aren't, because we've all seen people perform these like small little miracles every day, and they really do make a difference in the world, and I'm just hoping that I can do something like that. So before I really get into how I want to change the world, I think you need to know one thing about me that's really hard to talk about. I went through something devastating a few years ago, 7 years ago actually, and it's really kind of shaped my life. And I know that most people can relate to going through devastating things. We've all been there. But I feel like it's important to know this part of my story for me to tell you how I want to change things. I was molested by my stepfather for quite some time, about 7 years ago. And when I told my mom this, we packed up our stuff in like the middle of the night and we left Connecticut, moved back here, moved in with my uncle. And a week later, my stepfather had taken his own life, making it impossible for us to get the justice that we all felt we deserved, and it left a whole lot of conflicting feelings amongst me and my family members. It's a small town. We all know this, so news travels fast, and a lot of people found out that my stepfather had died. They didn't know the circumstances surrounding it, but they knew that he wasn't around anymore. And when we were asked what happened, we got a lot of like the same phrases would kind of get thrown at us. So we would get, you know, everything happens for a reason, or God never gives you more than you can handle, or, you know, there's a plan for everything in the long run. And a lot of times those people would say that to me, and I understand it was supposed to be helpful, but they would say that to me and I just want to scream at them, like, what's the plan? Like, why am I going through this? Like, my family feels like it's been ripped apart. I feel like my innocence is completely gone, my childhood is gone, I had to grow up faster than I wanted to. And it was hard because I didn't like hearing those things, and I understand it was helpful, and I felt like I was completely and totally alone in the world. Which I now know I shouldn't have felt like I was alone. Now I know the statistics. I know that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men will go through the same stuff that I went through. And it's absolutely crazy for me to feel like I am completely alone in this world. So, time passed. It's been 7 years now. I've learned to deal with it. I have 1 month that I really struggle, and that's the month of November. But I have a really amazing support system. My mom's really incredible, and my family's been really incredible, and my friends are awesome, and I've had a lot of support that way. So I don't know about you guys. I watch a lot of TV, like a lot of TV, and I don't just watch TV, like I watch it. So what starts out as a night binge watching Law & Order SVU turns into, maybe I'm gonna watch a few of the interviews, and actually it started out with bloopers, so I'm gonna watch a few bloopers and see what these guys are like backstage. And it turns out they're all a bunch of goofballs backstage. Like if anybody's watched Law & Order, it's a really serious show. But it's so funny to watch them in their bloopers because they just goof around with each other and they make jokes and they laugh, and it's really funny. And so then I was like, okay, now I'm gonna watch some interviews. And I watched some interviews, and that sort of led to my obsession. I don't know if obsession is the right word. We're gonna say appreciation for right now. I began to have this deep appreciation for absolutely everything that Mariska Hargitay does. And so if you don't know who Mariska Hargitay is, she plays the lead detective on Law & Order SVU. She plays Olivia Benson. And if you don't watch the show, Law & Order SVU deals entirely with sex crimes. So it was one of those ways for me to kind of feel like I wasn't alone in the world anymore. So when she got fan mail from people, it wasn't the normal, you know, oh my gosh, I love you so much, you're so incredible, you're so beautiful, can I get a signed picture, please? It was people sending her fan mail saying, I've been through this, help me. And she easily could have sent them a signed picture back and gone, man, that stinks. And instead what she did was, she trained as a rape crisis counselor, and she started the Joyful Heart Foundation, which gives money and healing and retreats to people who have been through similar situations. She started KnowMore.org, which seeks to raise awareness about these issues that are really, they plague us. And I think it's incredible that she took a role on a TV show and turned it around and made it better. And I absolutely idolize her. I want to make a difference in the lives of people like me. So I kind of got to thinking, that. I mean, she's just a person, just like I am. She's married, she has 3 kids. I'm not married, I don't have 3 kids. But, she's just a person. And it's really easy to fall into that trap of thinking that she's better than us because she's famous, and that's not necessarily the case. So I got to thinking that if I could create an ad, what would I want to do? And I thought I'd want to send an ad campaign out there with ordinary people like me sharing their stories so that we don't fall into that trap. Because it's so easy for me as a survivor to look at people and go, oh yeah, well that's Oprah, that's Gabrielle Union, and they can't possibly understand what I'm going through because they're famous. But in reality, they felt the same going through the same trauma. They feel the same shame afterward. They feel the same doubt afterward. Their celebrity status doesn't make it any different. So I did it. I made my own video. I called it Ordinary is Extraordinary because I know that all of us ordinary people can do extraordinary things in this world. And I started by making myself accessible, hoping that people can relate to me by telling them all the dorky facts about me. So the TV shows I watch, the books I like to read, the fact that I have a big crush on Danny Pino, and then I tell my biggest secret, which really isn't a secret anymore, that I was sexually abused. And then I ask other people to be brave and come forward like I have, and share their stories with the same hashtag on social media and the Facebook page I created. My goal is to create a safe community for all people to discuss their experiences, and a place I hope people who have recently come forward will browse so that they know they're not alone. I also really hope that there's some 14-year-old girl out there who is just like me, who maybe stumbles across it and goes, you know what, if they can get out of this, then I can too. And I really hope that I can change lives somehow. And that's how I want to change the world. So, I'm not going to lie. I was really, really, really angry at God for a very long time. And I didn't understand why he would put me through something that was so trying, why he didn't make it stop even though I prayed, why I had to deal with those feelings all the time. And on top of all of that, I felt guilty for feeling angry at him because I was like, who am I to be angry at God? That's not my place. And I think it was my mom who told me this. I'm not really sure. I think she heard it from somebody else. But she told me that this battle that goes on between God and the devil is just kind of that. It's just a battle. And sometimes God wins and sometimes he loses. But in the end, good is supposed to trump all. And when it came to my abuse, he just lost that battle. But it's kind of like that, lose the battle but win the war kind of thing like that. And that explanation made a lot of sense to me and was what I needed to begin my spiritual healing. So did you know that when you're having a really bad day, psychologists say that all you have to do is smile, and by the end of the day you'll actually be happier? It sounds ridiculous, but it really works. I work customer service, I get customers screaming at me all the time, and I just smile at them, and it doesn't bring me down. So this is sort of the approach I took with my faith, and it was kind of like a fake it till you make it mentality. I joined a healing group at a church in Royalston that I was going to, and I joined the worship team, and it's actually really hard to be angry at God when you're singing about how wonderful he is. So that helped a lot, actually, to get my faith back on track. And now I've thrown myself into activism, whether it's sharing the NoMore.org post, which I hold dear to my heart, and spreading that word, or sharing my own story to help others. I found rewarding work helping people who have been through similar things. And it seems that 7 years later, God has finally made his plan known to me. That he wanted me to take my negative experiences and turn them into a positive. So to all those people out there who ever looked at me and said, God has a plan, everything happens for a reason, I just want to apologize for wanting to scream at you, because you were right. I didn't see it then. And I hope to anybody out there who's facing something trying right now, I hope you know that even though it may not be evident at this particular moment what God's plan is, it might not be evident a week from now, a month from now, or even a few years from now. But someday you'll look back at whatever's going on in your life right now and go, okay, I get it. It really stunk, but I get it. And be happy with that. So I'm going to ask for a little bit of help. I'm going to ask you to help me spread the word. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men will be sexually abused or assaulted before they turn 18, and that's ridiculous. It's one of those statistics makes you want to squirm in your seat. And it gets so little press because it's so uncomfortable to talk about. But it's a reality that we have to face. Don't be afraid to make yourself uncomfortable or make other people feel uncomfortable, because in the long run it could really help save somebody and it can help them out a lot. So help me spread the